Hello! Today we are doing another deep dive, this time for Rootha Squallheart. Rootha, Mercurial Artist, is a 1/4 legendary orc shaman for 1 blue and a red, with art from Chris Ran. She is a 1/4 orc, which is starting out special. For 2 mana, you can return her to your hand and copy one of your instants or sorceries. Her flavor says, "Art is never finished, merely abandoned." The name of this card is Rootha. Rootha is the name of this character. Just kidding. We will get into her story later. I want to focus on Rootha's adjective. She is an artist, yes, but a mercurial one at that. Mercurial could mean that Rootha contains mercury. This would be funny, as mercury is a fast changing metal that would melt and then harden with Rootha's spells. Funny as in that it would kill her. So, taking into account Rootha's other properties, I would say that mercurial means subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind. Rootha, in other words, is temperamental and changes her mood often. I feel like we are going to come back to this. Rootha is one of the more expensive main characters mana-wise. She costs 1, a blue and a red. This is probably due to her talent and practice. Rootha has the perfect personality for an artist. Not in her temperament per se, but mostly because she tends to want to create a lot, and she is critical of herself. Now here is the main struggle for every artist, and it is perfect in the Prismari colors. The critique of blue, making her want to iterate on her previous work. We see this in her story too, where she hesitates to deliver art that is not perfect. And then the creation side of red, which is oversimplified as a big need to do big explosion stuff. Though, I would argue that Rootha with these colors also values uniqueness, which is why she wants to create something that only she could make. This art from Chris Ran shows us Rootha in her natural habitat, inside of her workshop, making a circle of elemental magic. In my short story, she had to learn to make a smaller version to make a larger one. We see how Rootha's workshop is open to the outside. Prismari students do take a lot of inspiration from nature, as nature almost equals beauty. Now you might say that this is just a picture of a person with a round frame. You are right in a way, but we can also feel Rootha's vibe perfectly. She can scare people with her face, which is serious and snarly, and she has intense cheekbones, but she is also very focused. Intensely so, I would say, even that art needs a certain degree of loose focus. Exactly like this. In a way, you need an intensity. What does Rootha say about art? She says in a flavor here, "Art is never finished, merely abandoned." Art is never finished. That is true, although you will have to put it out into the world sometime. It could be abandoned, and then you would say that art was all for nothing? Well, no. The creator gained experience and the art left an impression. Then it is left behind when it is not useful anymore. Which is, by the way, a notion for both Prismari colors. Rootha being mercurial suits her, as it shows us how she abandons her art, but even more so for the intensity with which she creates it. In order to make great art, I believe, you need magnificent focus on your subject. Chris Ran shows us magnificent focus too, in pieces like Black Lotus, of course, where we see the subject being focused on. And from that focus, spring details like the dead dude around the flower. Then we have Sigarda, where we see this intense focus as well, and her signature weapon springing from it. Even the sun, in this case, is springing forth from Sigarda's character. We see the same focus in Rootha too, an intense focus of the artist for his character, and Rootha has the same intense focus for her own art. And now I am intensely focusing on this card too, making it full circle. In the art from Bayard Wu on Start From Scratch, Rootha is seen smashing an artifact. Why? Because art is never finished. Here we are reminded of Rootha's struggle with the fact that art will never be finished or perfect. But art can be finished, and the answer lies in this card. Art is in a way finished when you are finished with it. Either when you are not inspired anymore, or you should abandon it. Or when you are done because you cannot do better anymore, which probably will never happen. Rootha starts her journey with this notion of her art having to be perfect. It is only later that she realizes that art cannot be finished. Though you can feel like you can do better, and this is important. Whenever you make something, you could infinitely go back to that work to make it better. But at some point, you have to be finished. Rootha has a very tangible struggle with it here. Bayard often makes art that is inspired by action. I think Take Aim shows us this the best, with the godly Ferocian arrow striking a dragon as it falls dead from the sky, which has approximately the same impact as shattering your own art that you have worked on for so long. Abandoning your art is hard, and it takes a mad genius to start over with it, meaning that if you ever want to create mad art, you will have to become a mad genius. I am just saying that all artists are crazy people. In Colin's art, we see the other side of creativity. If you are only stopping, you are doing nothing. But by starting over constantly, your stops and recreations gain meaning. This sudden breakthrough is an actual treasure for Rootha. Look once again at the intensity in her eyes. Is that not the face of obsession? To make art, you have to be obsessed by an idea and then let it go when you are done with it for that moment. It is a constant cycle of loving and letting go that makes a piece truly hit home. In a way, you need to expose the core of your own heart of soul visible and still not be afraid to have it crushed. Now I can feel the breakthrough coming through for me as well. Colin's art features the particularities of humanity, how we try to trust and should not have trusted in Poison the Cup. This one is gripping his throat, trying to defend against something that is already inside of him. With Venerable Knight, we see a different part of humanity, where we expect our strength to reside in our successors too, how we lay a burden on everything that represents us. And that is where Rootha and artistry returns. Whenever we make art, we lay the burden of our whole soul in that piece. We do not want our soul to break, so we expect it to be like our version of perfection, which actually motivates us to create, and then it also brings the doubts. But then when we start to focus on our vision again and we go back to creation. Now, what does that flow look like? Now, Elemental Masterpiece is a card that makes two 4/4 elementals that could be four 4/4 elementals with Rootha out, which is satisfyingly symmetric. The art from Martha Neal shows us the first time that we see Rootha zoomed out. This is because the spell fills the frame, yes, but also because we want to feel the freedom that Rootha is feeling. She has made a circle like this before in her main art, and now she is making it in a big elemental crescendo masterpiece. Her creation followed by her perfection, followed by more creation, followed by the shattering of her own art, then was finished with her masterpiece and her freedom in expression. Yes, all of her previous art was abandoned, but it was never finished. It just led to inspiration for this final masterpiece. Now, is this art finished? No, it should not be finished. It should lead to new inspiration. But that is exactly what the power of art is. It is never finished. We can keep creating forever, and it will always be this unperfect and fleeting art that will be irrelevant after a few years, urging us to create more and to never be done. In a way, art has given us infinite fuel, as long as we dare to keep creating. Now, why does Rootha create? She is an orc whose mother was a famous artist. Her mother could create ice sculptures that seemed to never melt. Her art basically seemed to last unnaturally long, making Rootha step into the shadow of her mother's still relevant art. Rootha, however, creates fleeting art, albeit in a big flashy way, or at least she is supposed to do that. She is supposed to create unconditionally and then resculpt later. Where her mother sided more on the creation of an idea, Rootha needs her art to explode, like her temper. Rootha almost has to choose prismari. She does not do math, history, she does not talk, and then maybe she could have been Witherbloom, but also her whole life has been about art. Even though at first she is young, that she does not fit with the other older mages. Being young, of course, only helps with her creative side for now, so maybe she will turn out to be more like her mother later too. For now she needs to soak up the new inspiration. Now let's take it full circle back to creativity. Creativity in magic is heavily themed. It is often about discarding or destroying and then manifesting something new from the top of your library. Indomitable Creativity is actually a great example of this. It is also always red and blue. Wait, actually, all cards with creativity in their names exile a card from the top and let you play it. Oh, that's actually not very creative. Now, Rootha is a creative card. Not because forks are new or orcs are new, no, because of the way she plays out. You have to play her and then your opponent can try to attack her, but then in response you might counter their card with a sublime epiphany, and you have a massive upside. Now you can say, but that's not efficient. Then I can explain that art is not supposed to be efficient. Creativity does not always lead to inspiration or epiphanies, but it could. Though if you always solve your problems in the most simple ways, you will always take the same path. Art is useless, and that is almost a fact. But that is why no one would make it, and in a way, it is why it is beautiful. But we can learn the most from it, because it shows you places that would otherwise have been abandoned. See how we abandoned Rootha at the end there? She would not mind, as she prefers it that way. She does not want to be forgotten, but she wants to be in your life intensely, instead of just being there for a long time. If anything, try to be inspired by her. Keep your own spark of creativity alive. How? By doing useless things. I am doing so too, almost daily. Does it bring me somewhere useful? No, not at all. And that is amazing, because no one will want to follow me into this insanity, and you will get to watch me be crazy. That is why great artists are crazy, because they need to tread paths that no one else would ever want to cross. That is where the new inspiration is. I hope to have inspired you, yes, you. This was Rootha, Mercurial Artist. Have a nice day.